We got Anthony Lionheart Smith back here on the program. He's going to be taking on Mauricio Shogun Rua in the main event of UFC Fight Night 134 on July 22nd. Anthony, how are you today, man?
I'm doing really good, man. Just getting my workouts in for the day and just finished some lunch.
Yeah, it's been a crazy couple weeks for you. I literally just see on Twitter one day that you're not fighting on the Lincoln card. You're now fighting in Germany against Shogun. When did you find out about this, and how did this all come together?
I think I found out the Tuesday. I think it was announced on Thursday, so I accepted it on that Tuesday before that. My manager, Jim Walter, called and kind of said, I got a statement and a question for you. And I said, well, all right. He said, you're fighting Shogun July 22nd in Hamburg, Germany. And I said, all right. And he said, do you want to fight Shogun? And I said, yeah, let's go. So, yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows me, man. It's not really much of a question. It's just tell me who and when I got to be there.
Yeah, and that's a sign of a good manager, too, because for people who don't know, Jim also manages Stipe, so he had his big fight, and meanwhile, he's coordinating this huge opportunity for you. I mean, how excited are you to headline this card and to face a legend in Shogun? This is your second former UFC champion that you're going to be facing in a row.
Yeah, I think that well, first of all, that part of with Jim gets kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit. He was with Stipe in Vegas, going through their whole deal, which is obviously a pretty big deal, and still taking care of his other guys. You know what I mean? That guy just works his ass off. So that's cool. And it's pretty crazy to be able to fight two champions and two guys that I've looked up to back to back in a 2-month span. That's pretty wild. That I don't know how many other times you get the opportunity to do that. So I'm excited for it, man. And I'm just ready to get there and do it.
Yeah, no, I bet. When do you get to Germany? Have you mapped that out yet?
Yeah, I leave Tuesday.
Okay.
So I'm here in Denver through the weekend, and then I go to Germany on Tuesday.
Good stuff. I literally just talked to your training partner, Ian Heinisch, this morning, so I know that you're still in Denver and everything, so that's good. I guess you pretty much just after the last fight, I know you went back home for a bit, but you've pretty much been in Denver since then.
I was home for a couple weeks, and then we got the Shogun fight, so I pretty much came right to Denver after that.
Excellent. And you're taking on a legend in Mauricio Shogun Rua. How do you feel like you match up against him here? Obviously, one thing you can look at is he hasn't fought a ton in the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, I think the fact that he hasn't fought actually is probably a good thing for him. He's got a lot of miles on his body and been in a lot of battles. So I think the fact that he's only fighting one time a year the last 3 years, number one, means that he's definitely taking the right fights and the fights that he likes. But also means that he's healing. He's got a lot of time to let his body recover from those fights, and I think that he's going to be there. I think he's going to be healthy. So I think that creates its own problem. Also, there's a lot of time in between for him to pick up new skills, so you never know what you might run into. And stylistically, I think we match up really well. I think that I'm obviously longer and taller, and I think that I'm significantly faster. I'm probably more dynamic than he is. He's pretty much had the same fight style for a lot of years, but he's hyper aggressive and he's always pushing forward. So, fighting a guy that's like a dream to me. I mean, I love that. So I'm excited for it,
And how much does it help too that, Ian has his fight coming up on Contender Series? Chris Camozzi, I know he was supposed to have a fight that ended up falling through, but I know he's in there helping you. Like, it seems like you have a lot of good support as far as training partners heading into this fight.
I do. It really worked out, that everyone kind of was getting ready for something anyway. So I jumped right in the mix and got right after it. And I'm always really thankful for all my training partners. I have good training partners back home in Omaha, and I got great training partners here. So I was able to bring out my jiu-jitsu coach and my boxing coach from Omaha. So they came to Denver with me. So, we're all kind of under one roof right now. So it's actually really, really cool.
And on that same note, do you know who's going to be cornering you for this fight?
Yeah, it's going to be Mark Montoya will be the lead corner as always, and then my boxing coach Danny Molina, my jiu-jitsu coach Scott Morton, and Jim Walter as always.
Oh, good. Nice to see Jim's sure racking up those frequent flyer miles this last couple weeks.
He is, man. He's all over the place.
Yeah, no, that's great. So as far as the weight cut, I know your 205 is obviously the way better class for you, not having to cut those extra 15 pounds, but do you still have to alter the cut a little bit just with the fact you're going to be traveling?
Not really. I do, with the 205 thing, I do the majority of my cut is with my diet. So when I fought Rashad, I didn't miss one meal. I didn't we didn't hold back any water. I was drinking 2 gallons of water a day. I was eating big old fat plates of salmon. I mean, I was eating really good. And I woke up the morning of weigh-ins at 2:06 on the dot. So I didn't miss a meal. You know, we just tweaked my intake a little bit as far as um, just cleaning it up a lot. You know, eating a lot of stuff that doesn't really hold on to you. You know, and I still train during the week of fight week anyway, so I'm burning a lot of that off anyways. So I really don't have to do much different. The flight's obviously going to be a little bit different, so I'll probably end up maybe 2 pounds heavier than I normally would check in at, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal.
And how do you see this fight playing out on the 22nd?
I think I'm going to viciously knock out Shogun, and I don't see any other way it ends. If people, I'm telling you, guys got to pay attention. Like, I'm not joking when I say I'll fight anybody, anytime, anywhere, and I don't give a shit. I'm always ready. Shogun's not getting an out of shape, chubby, not ready short notice replacement. I'm a different beast, and I'm always prepared. And I just fought, so it's not like I didn't even have enough time to get out of shape. I feel better right now than I did going into the Rashad fight. I was able to take a little bit of time and let my body heal up from the camp. Stayed moving around a little bit and stayed active, and now I've got 2 weeks. I've had 2 weeks, and now I'm right back to where I was before Rashad. So I just don't. I hope that Shogun is taking me very seriously, because I'm ready, and I'm just as good now or better than I was before I fought Rashad.
Where do you feel like a win, especially a finish over Shogun, puts you in the division? I know this is a new division for you, but you took out a former champion in Rashad Evans. If you take out another champion here in Shogun, that's got to look good on the resume.
Man, I wasn't sure exactly where that would put me. Definitely in the top 10 for sure. But I don't know what's going on with Daniel Cormier, but he's been saying recently that he thinks that Shogun is next in line, and completely dismissing the fact that Shogun has to fight me. So I'm not sure what DC's problem is. He's smarter than that. You know what I mean? He's an analyst. He knows he knows that anybody can lose at any point in time. But he's also smart enough to know that I'm more than capable of walking right through Shogun. He knows that that's a possibility, and regardless of how objectively you want to look at it, there's no one in the world that's, especially people that do this for a living and that analyze fights for a living, that can look at this fight and not know that can happen. So for him to completely dismiss me, number one, pisses me off. But number two, it also puts me in a position where if you think Shogun is next in line, then I go in and I start Shogun. Now, what does that say? Like, me and you are together now, bitch.
Yeah.
That's me and you. You got to come back. You got to come down for something, and he's obviously doesn't want the Gustafsson fight. They've already done that once. Who else? There's a bunch of guys up there, but I'm a fresh face, so chances of me getting the fight with DC pretty slim. But it definitely puts me in a position to, maybe fight the winner of Glover and Corey Anderson, or I'd imagine that Gustafsson's probably going to beat Volkan, so he's going to sit around and wait for a title shot, and I don't got time to wait. So maybe the loser, maybe Volkan. I think that puts me right up there, and maybe like a title eliminator, a number one contender spot fight.
Now, hearing those comments from DC, and does that kind of give you a little bit of a chip on your shoulder heading into this fight, like a motivation? Just because I heard those comments too, and I think people looking at this fight, you would have to be the favorite here, I would think.
I mean, I would assume so, but I haven't looked at the odds or anything. I'm not sure, but I just, it does put a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, because it's, DC's one of the first guys that bitches and complains about being overlooked and people not taking him seriously. But he's the first person to dismiss people. So, like, it's really easy to sit behind your desk and talk about how you're not respected, and then in the same damn sentence, completely disrespect and look over somebody. So, I mean, he'll look at this and he'll ignore it, and he won't even pretend like I exist. But, regardless, DC knows that the Shogun fight isn't a gimme. But what he's looking for is he wants a big fight with a big name. He's looking for money. He's not looking for challenges. If he wants challenges, there's plenty of fights with challenges.
Well, on that same note, and we'll end things here. What did you think about Brock Lesnar going in the cage after the fight? You know, a lot of people have been against that, saying it's, you know, pro wrestling and all this stuff, and just the fact that Brock is even getting this shot over someone like Curtis Blades or Alexander Volkov.
You know, the Brock Lesnar thinking in itself, like I get it, man. It's money, it's pay-per-view sales, it's a business, and I get that. Like I'm not against people making money. The thing that pissed me off was Stipe being completely disrespected. Like, this guy carried the heavyweight torch for a long time. He beat a lot of goddamn good people. He defended he's the best. He's the greatest heavyweight champion that we've ever had. Like, he defended the belt more times than anyone's ever done it. There's no way you can argue that he's the greatest heavyweight to ever walk the planet right now. So, you know, for him to not even have the opportunity to you know, what do they say, that they don't normally interview people that just got knocked out? Well, they interviewed DC without a problem. They gave him an opportunity to speak to his fans and let people know he was okay and you know, speak his mind. I think that Stipe deserved an opportunity to let his fans know he's okay, tell people that he's coming back, that he's not done yet, and give him just a couple minutes and give him a little bit of shine for the things that he has done. That bothered me, and it just is seemingly there's a lot of people that are happy that Stipe lost, and it's just so crazy in this sport how you could do so much and then just get tossed to the side like a piece of trash, you know, like. And then for Brock to stand in there and say, oh, you know, Stipe's trash, and like, come on, dude. Like, have you seen yourself in there before? Like, you were fucking terrible. Like skill-wise, Brock Lesnar is garbage. Like, if you shrink him down to the size of a normal person, he wouldn't make it one round with anybody in the UFC that's in the top 10. He just wouldn't. But he's just a monster human being, and he's athletic, and he's strong, and he's a wrestler. But I mean, his skill set, have you ever seen that guy throw a punch? Jesus Christ. It's one of the ugliest things I've ever seen in my whole life. So for him to just disrespect Stipe and that just, and that's a personal thing, I think. You know what I mean? I probably have a different view on it than a lot of other people, but, you know, I just didn't like it, man. So, and DC will walk right through Brock Lesnar, you know? It's just it's a money grab. But it's not. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it if I was DC, though. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I'm not going to trash talk. I mean, I would do the exact same thing. But, you know, DC knows that he's going to beat Brock Lesnar's ass, you know, but he's got to pretend like it's going to be a fight.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, I'll tell you what is going to be a great fight. July 22nd, it's UFC Fight Night 134. Anthony, it's always good catching up with you, man, and congratulations on this opportunity. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours.
My Instagram is Anthony Smith UFC. My Twitter is @LionheartSmith. That's, both of those are actually me. So, you know, hit me up. I like talking back and forth with the fans. Icon Meals is still keeping my belly full and always taking really good care of me. And then shout out to all my teammates at Factory X, all my teammates at Skywalker 101 in Omaha, and just all my, you know, my family. You know, I feel terrible. I just fought. They expected me to be home for a long time, and, you know, this opportunity popped up, and you know, obviously we couldn't turn it down. So, you know, my kids are not the happiest with me. Daddy's been gone a lot, and Michaela, my fiance, is kind of been solo for a while. So, you know, I just, you know, want to thank them for just dealing with this shit. You know, this is a rough life, especially as a dad and, you know, as a fiance. It's a rough way to live sometimes. So, yeah, that's it, man. Just tune in. I promise you guys, if you give me the opportunity. I know the card has been switched around a little bit, and it's been shuffled, and you're not necessarily getting all the fights that you guys expected. But if you just give me 25 minutes of your life, I promise it'll be worth it.